So, you want to write a story, but you have no idea where to start. Well, I might not be an expert, but I do have some tips that'll help kickstart your writing process. After watching this video, you know what the concept is, what an original concept is like, and how to create an appealing concept that'll hook your audience instantly. Anyways, let's start talking about the concept. When we're talking about the concept, we're referring to the heart of your story. This is what you will use as the main appeal to attract your audience. It involves taking individual ideas and combining them in a way that is unique, fresh, and original. Think about it as the short answer to what is the story about. Let's take a quick look at First Blood, for example. Individually, its ideas look like this: an action war film. It takes place in a small town near the mountains. The main character is a shell-shocked Vietnam vet. The antagonist is the cruel, proud sheriff of the town. Ideas are the basic building blocks of a story. Individually, they aren't enough to tell a story. However, when we combine them, we get what we know as the concept. The concept is a set of ideas that have evolved to the point where a story is possible. Now, let's combine the ideas we previously mentioned into a full-on concept. When a shell-shocked Vietnam vet is forced by a cruel, proud sheriff and his deputies to flee into the mountains, he wages an escalating one-man war against his pursuers. A concept gives us a clear idea about what the story is about in a short 1 to 3 sentence statement. But what does it matter anyways? As George Lucas himself puts it, a movie is a success or a failure from the moment you solidify your concept. Execution is 50%. It's the primal attachment to the concept that makes the movie work. In a sense, the concept has the same function as the cover has to a book or a thumbnail to a YouTube video. If it's not appealing, you will lose a huge part of your audience before they even take a deeper look to your story. Not only that, but the portion that does stay to experience what you've made will come out disappointed. The concept is the foundation of the story. Just like a good house can't be built upon a flimsy foundation, a great story cannot branch off a poor concept. Part of a good concept involves originality. In today's day and age, blending in and telling the same story that has been told a million times before results in being ignored and quickly forgotten. If you want your story to stand out, you need to strive for originality. Now, in order to create an original concept, either your context or your ideas need to be fresh. Small-scale originality involves applying a familiar idea and combining it with a fresh context. Let's take Star Wars for example. It takes the familiar context of the hero's journey and places it in a sci-fi intergalactic setting with unique, never-seen-before attributes. Even though we are familiar with this type of story, we can't help but be intrigued by this fantastical universe and all its unique wonders. What is the Force? What can the Death Star do? What happened to Luke's father and the rest of the Jedi? This also works vice versa. Whiplash shows the familiar context of a jazz band rehearsal room, but presents us with the fresh idea of an over-the-top strict instructor that crosses as many borders as he can to make his students achieve perfection and will stop at nothing for it. This salad of ideas somehow makes for one of the most thrilling, stress-inducing psychological dramas I've ever seen. How far is Fletcher willing to push Neiman? Will Neiman break down under all the stress? Who will win in this metaphorical war? Large-scale originality, however, combines a fresh idea and context to create a highly unique story. Let's look at Wreck-It Ralph. The story takes place in a world where video game characters are sentient and their games are actually their respective homes. This gives it a fresh context. Not only that, but the main character is a villain that, despite his role, is actually kind-hearted and wants to be appreciated by the people around him, giving the story a fresh idea. The combination of these unique ideas make Wreck-It Ralph one of Disney's most brilliant films and is still celebrated to this very day. Remember, originality arouses curiosity and invites insight. Familiarity brings about little wonder. Now, let's jump right into writing an appealing concept. This is the part where we apply what we've learned so far. Using our newfound knowledge, let's craft our own original concept. Remember, The first step to forming a concept is to garner multiple ideas. So, here's some ideas I find interesting. A murder mystery thriller story. It takes place in a world where a superhero exists. It involves workplace drama, and the main character is the victim's best friend. A single idea isn't enough to tell a story in on itself. However, combining this into a single statement will help us make it into something more complex and apt to tell a story. This is the stage in which these ideas form together to make a concept. So, when a famous hero winds up dead on his office desk as his secret identity, unforeseen tension brews up around the workplace as the deceased hero's best friend, a fellow reporter and photographer, cannot trust anybody as he investigates further into the mysterious murder with the unknown killer on the loose. Notice how we grab the familiar context of the superhero mythos and combine it with a fresh idea by making it a mystery thriller, something that you don't see colorful heroes like Superman or Spider-Man tackle that much. Always remember to strive for originality. And finally, let's do some writing exercises. I've prepared 3 short activities so you can put into practice what we've learned today. Number 1. Grab any story of your liking, book, movie, game, etc., and identify its concept. Number 2. Think of a story you've experienced with a boring concept. What do you think it's missing? Try to make it more interesting. And number 3. Create your own concept. I recommend you share what you did in the comments. That way you can get feedback from other people and I. Hopefully this video helped you and now you have your concept. Congratulations! I know this seems like something small in the grand scheme of things, but it is actually the first huge step forward into creating your story. Many writers get extremely anxious and think their story should come out perfectly even though it is their first time writing one. Experience is important, and experience is gained through practice. Keep on studying and writing. If you found this video helpful in any way, consider dropping a like. If you'd like me to cover more storytelling topics or you have any advice you'd like to share, feel free to drop a comment. If you're new here, hi, I'm November. This is My Next Draft, a channel where my girlfriend Inky and I talk all about what we're passionate about: art, writing, video games, and more. We drop videos every Friday and bonus content when we can. If you're interested in that and would like to see more from us, consider subscribing and following us in our socials in the description. We'd love to see you here more often. Anyways, thank you all so much for sticking around. I'd like to thank all of you for 15 subscribers, and I hope to see you all next time. See ya!